Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be doing a recap for the movie Reminiscence. Before getting into our videos, subscribe to our channel to avoid missing any updates. Spoiler alert, the film starts when climate change has caused the water level to rise, threatening to flood cities shortly. Extreme daytime temperatures have compelled most of the population to live at night. This has also resulted in numerous wars, leaving people little to look forward to. Nick Bannister and his friend Emily Watts run a business that allows people to relive memories using a special machine called Reminiscence. Both are ex-military personnel. Hank, a friend from the army, also uses the machine. These memories are saved in a small flash drive as they prepare to shut down for the night. May, a walk-in customer, asks for assistance locating her misplaced keys. Nick is immediately drawn to her and decides to assist her. He administers the sedative and she prepares to enter the tank. He begins to notice her recollections of her. He can see details in her room during her morning routine. Watts notices her putting the key in her bag and dropping it in the dressing room but continues with the memory. Nick discovers she is a nightclub singer and feels connected to her as she sings his favorite song, When or Where. They discovered May had forgotten her earrings when she left. When the sun rises, Miami transforms into a ghost town and sleep is difficult to come by. The city comes alive at night. When a wealthy land baron walks free because he is sick, Nick offers tag services to the dog's office. According to Nick, the entire city is riddled with corruption. Nick then goes to a nightclub. She sings from May's memory, and they look into each other's eyes as he toasts to her. He later returns her earrings. They exchange a few words. He escorts her to her flat after telling him about her favorite memory of the house in the middle of nowhere. They can finally express their desires and have intimate moments there. They continue their conversation on the roof, and he tells me that memories like perfume are best in small doses. They kiss, and she tells him that he might not have the right memories just yet. The picture blurs for Nick at that point and he wakes up in the tank and Nick is back in there. He's been doing this for months, letting go of every memory of May. May has vanished without a trace and Nick hopes to piece together her whereabouts and memories of her. He spends hours reliving his memories of their relationship, but this is a risky practice that could keep him trapped there indefinitely. Watts tells him that he must let her go and focus on their business. It had declined to the point where even regular customer Elsa had stopped coming. Nick returns home and sketches the memories in his journal because he can't get May out of his mind even after all this time. He goes to the club where she used to work with her friends for leads, but he doesn't find any. She completely smites him. He eventually takes a sedative and returns to his memories where all he does is spend time with May. He is then jolted awake by an alarm clock. Watts has set a goal for him. Someone is knocking on the door, but he yells they are closed when he finds May's earrings in the water. When Watts learns about the earrings, she thinks it's probably been lost there for a long time now. Avery Castillo, the district attorney, assigns Nick and Watts to recover the memories of the unconscious suspect, who worked for a drug crime lord named St. Joe in New Orleans 12 hours later. They have yet to receive any results. This is because dying people always want closure, a happy thought. Nick changes his approach and the projector turns on in the man's memories. They see the suspect. Nick also sees May with Joe and a crooked cop on Joe's patrol and persuades Fox to follow him the next time he sees May. Eventually, he arrives at a memory in which May steals a significant amount of baka from Joe while out of the room and attacks Fox when she is apprehended. This causes Nick to wonder how much he knew about May, and he sets out on his own to New Orleans to question St. Joe. When Nick first arrives at St. Joe's headquarters, he tries to get in by posing as a junkie. Even so, it eventually falls apart when Joe sees through this ruse. Nick abandons the act and asks Joe directly about May, but he says he hasn't seen her in a long time. Joe then attempts to drown Nick in an eel tank, but Watts, following Nick, swoops in for the rescue. A shootout ensues, with Joe mortally wounded, Nick rescued from the tank, and Joe's men killed. Joe begs Watts to put him out of his misery as he does not want to suffocate to death. Watts agrees and then brings Nick home. Later, after sifting through more of his and May's memories, Nick realizes that May had robbed his vault of memory recordings and stolen Elsa's. He also realizes she was working with the shady cop from earlier. He is now identified as Cyrus Booth, a Joe enforcer. Watts, who is irritated, informs him that Walter Sylvan has died. The public is outraged that his land monopoly is still in place. As they watch Sebastian and his mother Swati leave, Nick has an epiphany. Returning to the office, he substitutes Elsa's earlier memory for what was stolen, then compares it to one Swati had seen years before. A shocking revelation has been made. Walter had an affair with Elsa years ago, who became pregnant with his child, another son. Nick is determined to pursue Elsa and her son after realizing they are in danger. An irritated Watts tries to persuade Nick to take the evidence to the cops, but Nick believes the cops will do nothing. This quickly devolves into an argument. Watts confronts Nick about his obsession with finding May, while Nick accuses Watts of using his job as an excuse to flee her family and former life. He fires her and arranges for her to be transferred to work with Avery, prompting Watts to leave in disgust and telling Nick he's on his own. Nick visits the Sylvan Manor and confronts Swati about Walter's affair during a reenactment of a memory Nick had of her. Elsa, she claims, was one of several women he did this with. Sebastian ends the interrogation by ordering Nick to be escorted out and killed. However, one of the bodyguards has Nick spared because he is a former military vet, but warns Nick that he will not be so lucky if he returns. Nick then attempts to locate Elsa, but an encounter with a local girl who knew her reveals that he is too late. Elsa was murdered and her son Freddie was kidnapped and seemingly murdered by a woman Nick believes to be May. Nick pursues Elsa further only to be amused and subdued by Cyrus, now heavily scarred compared to how he appeared earlier, who warns him to stay off May's trail. Cyrus calls someone pretending to be May to inform them that Nick will no longer bother them. Nick follows Cyrus to an abandoned trash factory teeming with homeless people and confronts May. Cyrus gloats and provokes him into attempting to murder him. He flees due to Nick's hesitation and Nick pursues him. The two fight, and despite nearly drowning at one point, Nick eventually sneaks up on Cyrus and seizes him with a sedative. Nick returns Cyrus to his office and places him in the Reminiscence machine to question him. The truth is revealed here. Cyrus blackmailed May into working for him. May and her former St. Joe partner bailed on them to go straight and live an honest life. He used information Hank had unwittingly told her, such as the song and faking losing her keys, tricking Nick into a relationship to break into his vault and steal Elsa's memory recordings. Later, they track down Elsa and Freddie, and Cyrus murders the former. May had a change of heart, and instead of kidnapping Freddie, she rescued him and got him to safety before Cyrus subdued her. Cyrus later drugged her back to force her to reveal where she had hidden Freddie. On the other hand, May leaves an indirect message for Nick, knowing that he will see this memory. She apologizes for deceiving him and admits that she truly loved him and should have told him everything from the beginning. May then commits suicide by throwing herself to death, leaving Nick heartbroken. Devastated, Nick forces Cyrus to relive his worst nightmare, being burned in the face by St. Joe's men as punishment for skimming profits. He travels to confront Sylvan's legitimate son Sebastian, who hired Booth to kill Elsa and his half-brother to protect his inheritance. Sebastian is on the verge of committing suicide when he changes his mind and is arrested. Nick admits to Watts that he burned Cyrus's memories on purpose, which is a serious crime. He is convicted and then allowed to serve his sentence by reliving his time with May using his machine. Years later, Watts is shown visiting a sleeping Nick with her granddaughter, revealing that she reconciled with her estranged daughter on Nick's advice. That's where the film ends. That's all we've got for today, guys. Don't hesitate to like the video and leave a comment telling us how much you enjoyed this movie. We'll see you in the following video. Till then, goodbye.